When is the right time to assist feed a snake, and what is the proper technique to actually do it? That's what I'm going to cover in today's vlog while I'm trying to get this little bamboo ball python to eat its first meal. And welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. You guys may remember I talked about my Burmese python Snaz here the other day and how he went 8 months without eating. I mean, we were trying all kinds of stuff and he just was a stubborn little monkey. I tell you what, he did not want to eat, and then the other day he ate a nice little rabbit. It was so awesome. It's just a frozen rabbit. I mean, he decided to go off his hunger strike, and through that time he did lose some weight. Even now he looks a little bit thin. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably going to take several meals to kind of get back to the weight that I'm happy with him, but I know that now that he's eating, he will typically continue to eat, because once a snake is off their food strike, they typically go back onto food. So I am super excited about Snaz and the fact that he has finally went back onto food. But you have to ask yourself, why do snakes not eat? Like, what is the mechanism that causes some snakes to not want to feed? The first thing that happens sometimes when snakes go off of food is it's just a normal fasting period, much like Snaz. I mean, I wouldn't say that was normal, but he was just on a fast for whatever reason. Now with ball pythons like Honey here, they typically do fast. An adult ball python oftentimes will go off of food anywhere from 2 months of the year all the way up to 4 months. I've had them go 14 months without food, to be totally honest with you. Now 14 months is a long time, but if your adult ball python decides not to eat for a couple months during the winter months, that's actually pretty normal and nothing to be concerned with, as long as the animal seems to continue to look and act healthy. The next thing that can cause a reptile and a snake to stop eating, believe it or not, is environment. You know, it's cooling off outside. It's getting close to being winter. It's definitely 20, 30 degrees cooler outside, and you may think that your environment for your cage, because it has a heat ball, a hot rock, whatever, is exactly the same, but the fact is your house may be 5, 6 degrees cooler, meaning the cage is 5 or 6 degrees cooler, which will cause the animal to kind of go into a dormancy, and that can sometimes cause the animals to go off of food. Just make sure you check and keep a thermometer in your cage, and if it does need to be warmed up, just increase the wattage bulb, whatever the case may be. That will get your animal back on food if it is just an environmental thing. Of course, when snakes get older and mature, their metabolism slows down. Take, for instance, Daisy here. When she was a baby, she used to crush food every 7 days, and even sometimes more often than that. Now that she's a full-grown adult, her metabolism is way slower, so it takes her longer to digest food, and she's not as hungry as often. So it's not uncommon for an animal like Daisy here to go 10 or 14 days without food. So if I offer her food once a week, which I typically do, every now and then she'll just skip a meal. I'm not concerned about it at all, because I know that as an adult her metabolism is slow, and that as long as she eats every 10 or 14 days, I'm completely fine with that. Eric.
Yo.
Why would you bring up... Is this a real machete?
Yeah, no, this is a real machete. I actually use this outside. It's the perfect prop, but be careful with it. It's sharp, you know, but...
Why would you bring a real machete to work?
It's the real deal. It's Halloween. Once a year, you know, it's like Christmas, but it's Halloween.
Oh my God.
No threat, no threat. Just, it looks menacing.
I think that in the workplace you don't bring machetes.
Yeah, do you know how worried I was bringing this machete, these black gloves, and this monkey mask? I mean, you know, if I would have got pulled over, it'd have been the end of me.
Oh my
man,
gosh.
You know?
Yeah, from now on I'd say leave the machete at home.
You got it.
Okay.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
You guys may remember the emerald tree boa here, absolutely doing incredible now, but a handful of months ago it actually got sick a little bit. I'll put a link in the description to that video if you guys want to take a look at it. But the fact is that during that time it wasn't feeding, and we had to get vet assistance because it had some kind of bacterial thing in its gut. We ended up tubing it some stuff, some medicine. Turned out it turned around and did absolutely amazing afterwards. So sometimes your snake is not eating if it's acting weird, maybe it's gaping, its mouth bubbling, something weird is going on, maybe the stool looks weird, then it's time to take it to a vet. That definitely could be one of the reasons why a snake won't eat. So when should you be worried if your snake is off food? In particular, if you say have an adult ball python like this. This animal has been off food for a few months now, and what we'll do is a lot of times we'll monitor their weight and see where they start to lose weight. I've had them go again 14 months and only lose about 15% body weight. So what I want to do first off is make sure that the animal looks happy and healthy, right? I want the eyes to be nice and clear. I want the tongue response. I want the breathing. I want to make sure that there's no immediate issues that I can see on the outside, right? That's the first thing. The second thing you really want to do is make sure that you try different things. You know, if you have a ball python or another snake that's eating rats, try mice, try some other different things. You can even try scenting and stuff like that, because oftentimes when an animal is just on a self-imposed fast, you just need to trick it to get back to eating, and then once it starts eating, it'll go back to eating everything like it always does. So I wouldn't worry as long as your snake looks healthy and looks happy and there's no issues. You can always take it to a vet just as a checkup, but it's something not to really worry about. Well, when do you want to actually worry about, let's say, assist feeding? Now, you may be surprised to hear this, but I'm really not a big proponent of assist feeding adult snakes. I'll be honest with you, I just haven't had any success with it. And even some species of snakes, quite frankly, I haven't had a lot of success with. Some work, some don't. Take, for instance, blood pythons don't typically assist feed well, or at least I haven't had success with it. Burmese pythons, so like that. But a lot of snakes, you can assist feed, and it's all about like training them to eat, right? Ball pythons are definitely one that does really well, but I like to only use assist feeding on baby snakes, so hatchling neonates that have never fed before, because I always feel like if they've started to feed and then stop feeding, there's something else that's causing them not to feed, right? So the assist feeding for me is about getting a baby neonate ball python to feed for the first time that won't eat on its own. So I'm not a big fan of assist feeding adults. That doesn't mean that there's not times that that animal might need some assistance, and a lot of times force feeding is a better opportunity than assist feeding with adult snakes. Let's get into, say, a force feeding situation here. This is a theri that is starting to lose a little bit of body weight. It's been off food for a little while, and it is a potential candidate for force feeding, not assist feeding. Now, I'll be honest with you, force feeding is when you push whatever food down into their stomach, so you don't allow them to eat it on their own. You're literally pushing it right down into the stomach. And I'm not a huge fan of doing that with a full prey item, right? Because it's kind of stressful. I mean, you gotta really, really torque it down there and push it down. So what I'll do with an animal like this is I'll take something like this prescription AD science diet that is actually really good, high in protein, got all the nutrients it wants, and what I'll do is I'll mix it up with some water to make it a little bit of a slurry, and I'll take a feeding tube like this. I'll suck out whatever amount I feel is the same need for a good meal, and then what we do is we'll just literally go right down into the throat, close to the stomach. We'll slowly just kind of push that material into its stomach itself, and then we'll back it up with another kind of half a syringe of water, because a lot of times when the snake isn't eating well, hydration is an issue. So we want to get it really hydrated, and we'll do that 2 or 3 times with the AD Science diet, and it really seems to give them that body weight and that energy, and oftentimes they'll go on to food. So animals like this and many adult or subadult animals really don't take to assist feeding well, because they'll just spit it out, spit it out, spit it out, and then forcing a rodent down his throat, I think, is just too stressful for it. So this type of tube feeding, I think, is really good. Now, if you get a bigger snake, obviously you need a bigger syringe, and you can get tubes that are as long as 2 or 3 feet long to put it down his throat. Again, I would say talk to a vet if you haven't done it yourself. I don't want you guys shoving stuff down the snake's throat when you haven't done it. But this is the option if you want to go to a vet and they will actually tube feed an animal, but only if you feel like, hey, we're getting to a point where it's lost so much body weight that we're starting to get past the point of no return, and you really want to get the body weight on it. But again, that's kind of a last-ditch effort, to be totally honest with you. So if you get to a point where you feel like you have to assist feed, like I said, I personally only assist feed animals that haven't fed, and particularly ball pythons are pretty good about assist feeding. Sometimes it can take anywhere from like 2 to 5 times of assist feeding before the animal will take off. Sometimes it only takes 1, and it's just weird. Sometimes it seems like they don't even know how to feed, right? They're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and that's why the assist feeding actually helps. Whereas a force feeding really doesn't help, because you're just pushing stuff down into its gullet. What you're trying to do is almost teach it how to eat, and typically they'll take off. Now, the idea is to do this where it's the least amount of stress for the animal, of course, right? So what I want to do is get a fuzzy mouth that's about 1 to 1.5 times the size of the animal's head itself, right? Because if it's too big, there's too much hanging out of its mouth, it's going to be easy for the animal to spit it out. What you want to basically do is get it in the mouth to the point where the animal feels like, oh, I might as well eat this because I can't spit it out, if that makes any sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to support its body, and I'm going to very gently just kind of grab it behind the head, again, taking as much time as needed to not stress the animal out. Just get it into a good position here, again, slowly figuring out the position that is going to be the least amount of stress for the actual animal itself. And then I'm going to take the actual point of the mouse, and I'm just going to slowly increase to where I get it in its mouth like that. Then I'm going to slowly just push a little bit down. I'm not going to push a lot, but I want it to be like in its gullet a little bit. And then because they have that recurved teeth, I'm going to be able to just slightly pinch the mouth together to where it actually catches on it. Then the important thing is to kind of just let go and let it right itself, right? So you don't want to just set it down. See how it's hanging on right now? That's what you actually want. Then I'm going to gently set it down, and hopefully it's gonna just kind of relax in here, and it's gonna wanna eat for me. I'm gonna back up and just let's see what happens. You can start to see that it just opened its mouth where it kind of starts to do that crawl thing. See right there? Now, the big thing is to kind of keep quiet. Don't make motion. Leave it alone a little bit. And hopefully right now, see, it's trying to spit it out, but hopefully it'll eventually give up and just say, it's easier for me to eat this than it is to spit it out. So let's just sit back and see what happens. You can see it's starting to move it down now. Slowly, see, it's actually trying to eat it. And this is actually teaching the animal how to eat. It's still not 100% committed to eating it yet, but it's getting there. Those little movements there are good movements because it's actually learning how to eat right now. That's why assist feeding is so much more successful than force feeding. You're still getting the nutrients into the animal, but the animal is actually teaching itself how to take meals. I typically see that a first-time animal, sometimes the first time you put it in its mouth, like this one, will take it. Other times it'll take 2 or 3 times of continued patience to get it down. But this little lemon blast here is starting to take it down perfectly. This is really good. And I've noticed that normally between 2 and 5 feedings, they'll start to feed on their own. Now, I'll tell you guys in a later vlog what happens if you assist feed more than 5 times and it's still not feeding. There's still some other tricks to get them to eat, but I'm super happy that this particular animal is almost done with the fuzzy right now. Looks really good. So it's all wrapped up, guys. There's no doubt that what you want to do now is just get it back into his rack or leave it in its cage, whatever the case may be. You don't want any regurgitation issues. And that's the kind of start of the success of getting a baby ball python that isn't feeding. Now, I've got to just continue to insist on the fact that don't assist feed animals when you don't know what's going on. And a ball python that's only a week or 2 old doesn't need to be assist fed. We only assist feed a ball python if it's refused 3 weeks in a row as a baby. So it's already about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks old before we'll do our first assist feed. I never want people to take what I'm saying and then think, oh, my snake hasn't eaten for a week or 2. I'm going to go ahead and assist feed. That's the worst thing you can do. It's too much stress on the animal. This is to save the animal's lives that aren't eating, because that animal may never eat, and if I didn't assist feed it and eventually get it eating, it could potentially perish. So that is a great technique. I hope that you guys learned something from that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and if you've ever had that experience or if you ever would. And if you ever get into a position where you have to do something like this and you can't, find someone that's done it and they can help you through it, kind of teach you and mentor you through the process. Time for my girl Verde to eat. Come on, girl, you want some food? There you go, sweetheart. There she goes. Woo-hoo-hoo. She's gonna be big before you know it. Maybe not as big as Ivy anytime soon, but at least she's well on her way. Look at her. She loves to eat now. I love it. Remember, she was a really hard animal to get going. It's good to see her crushing food now. And again, it kind of goes back to my point about not panicking, right? I didn't really push food down her throat or do anything like that. I just had to slowly figure out how to get her to eat. So, and now that she's eating, she's just crushing it. I've learned with Ben and Jerry that you either get Jerry to take food right away, or if Ben grabs it first, you just have to wait till Ben's about halfway done, and then Jerry typically takes it. It's just weird how you can learn that stuff. So I'm going to try to get Jerry to eat first. That way he's going big time. See if you can get him over there. Nope, Ben got it. Typical Ben. Ben is such a stingy little dude. So what happens now is typically Jerry won't take it until Ben is well on his way to eating it, but we'll try. we'll just see if Jerry wants something. But yeah, I didn't think it would. What's basically gonna happen now is that Jerry's gonna be just kind of waiting for Ben to get done, and then once Ben kind of gets things going, Jerry will typically take. So I'll just wait a few minutes here, and then hopefully Jerry will take some. And there Jerry goes. Again, it's really wild how you learn your animals, right? And you don't panic, because remember when I first got Ben and Jerry didn't eat for, gosh, what, 4 months or something like that. I didn't really know how to get him to eat. So I didn't panic, I didn't assist feed, I didn't force feed, I didn't do anything like that. I just kind of figured out how to get it going. And it's so weird. Again, if Jerry doesn't take it right off the rip, then Ben takes it, and Ben has to be like halfway done before Jerry feels comfortable enough to take the food. So bizarre, but still pretty awesome. So again, sometimes, you know, when an animal isn't eating, it's just about getting to know your animal. I hope that this helps you if you're keeping snakes or thinking about keeping snakes, when you should panic, when you shouldn't panic, what you should do if those situations happen. Again, always reach out to us if you have any questions. We're always willing to help. If you like this video, can you go ahead and check this other video out? I think you'll like it. Over here, you can run through a whole playlist of cool feeding stuff. Over here, you can hit that subscribe button. While you're at it, can you turn those post notifications on? Remember to have an absolutely beautiful day, and you better be kind to someone. I promise. I'll see you guys tomorrow.